Hello everybody. Now that you've completed putting the light sensor on your robot, we're going to make a program for that light sensor. What we'll do is we'll name this new program One Light Sensor. And we're going to start this program with a loop, just like many other programs. Inside of the LEGO NXT program, there's this thing called a switch. It's on the bottom left of the common palette. Remember, the common palette is the green circle. We'll select the switch, we'll bring it up into the program, drop it inside of the loop, and you'll see that the switch defaults to a touch sensor. We're going to change the touch sensor to a light sensor. Now, your program should have a little sun with these rays around it. That indicates that it's a light sensor. By default, the light sensor port is port 3. What this light sensor switch does is it tells the robot to look at a value on port 3 and give two outputs. If it's white, do this line. If it's black, do this line. We're going to drag a motor block into the white line and a motor block into the dark line. Just like always, we're going to slow the power down on both of these motor blocks. So I'm slowing it down on the upper motor block to 50. Now I'm slowing it down to the lower motor block to 50. And since this is in a loop, I'm going to change the values of each of these motors to unlimited. That way, the robot will continually turn until it sees the white, and it'll continually turn left until it sees the black. So we'll select the black and change it to unlimited. In order for our robot to continuously acquire the line, we need it to turn right when it sees white. So I'm going down here, I'm selecting this, telling it to turn right. And in order for it to find the dark line, it needs to turn left. So I'm going to drag this one almost all the way over to the left. Now it's important that your arrow isn't pointing all the way over like this. It has to be right there, that way there's some sort of forward progress with this program. So let's make sure this program works. Let's go ahead and go down here and download it. And let's test this program and we'll see if it follows the line. Now that you've finished following the line with one light sensor, let's follow the line with two light sensors. So let's start a brand new program. We're going to name this program 2 Light Sensor. Start the program, and just like in previous tutorials, we'll start with a loop. The reason why we're starting with a loop is because we want the robot to continuously follow the line. Remember where the switch button is? Let's select switch, let's bring it up, And remember, we're going to change that switch to a light sensor switch. By default, that light sensor switch goes to port number 3 with a value of 50. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. We need to add another switch for the second light sensor. There are 4 different conditions in which your robot will run into. A condition where this light sensor, port 3, sees white and black. There's also a condition where another light sensor sees white and black. In order to indicate that, we need to bring another switch into each of these lines. So you'll see I dragged the switch there and I dragged the switch right there. Again, we're going to change them to light sensors. But remember, in the build video, we built it with those second light sensors on port number 2. So we select port number 2. Light sensor, port number 2. Now let's double check. Port number 2, port number 2. In the last tutorial, you learned how to turn by using a motor block like this and sliding this arrow. There are other ways to turn, and I will show you them now. I'm hitting the delete button to delete this motor block. And before we add any motor blocks to this program, we have to understand how we're going to change how we turn. If we turn one motor off and turn the other motor on, the robot will pivot off of the wheel that is not moving. And that's the premise for the rest of this program. So the way I work through this logic is I look at port number 3 when it's white, and when port number 2 is white, we want the robot to go straight. And remember, since it's in a loop, we're going to do it unlimited rotations, and we're going to slow the speed down to about 50%. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is where that thought of having the robot turn by pivoting off of one motor comes into play. What we'll do is we'll add 2 motor blocks just to do one turn. During the first turn, we want motor B to be the one that is stopped. So I'm deselecting motor C, and I'm changing this from forward all the way back here to stop. Also, we want motor C to be the motor that goes forward. So I'm deselecting B, I have it going forward. We're going to slow the power down to about 50%. And it's in a loop. Let's do unlimited rotations. The next line of code is the exact opposite of that. If you select these motor blocks, we're going to make this one port C, and port C needs to stop, and port B needs to go forward. Remember, 50% power, unlimited rotations. So essentially what I'm telling the robot to do so far is if both light sensors are on white, go forward. If 3 is white but 2 is black, I want you to turn left. Now if 3 is black but 2 is white, I want you to turn right. The difference between these two is B, C, and C, B. So B stop, C stop. Now, there's a condition which high schoolers will run into, and that's when you're at a T intersection. Port 3 will see black, and port 2 will see black. Now, elementary school, you will not have this issue, but middle school and high school, you might be competing in different divisions. You may have this issue. What I've done is I've selected a move block, and I've put it down here. This is a special situation. When they both see black, we're at a T intersection. We want the robot to go forward. So I have a go forward block right here. 0.5 rotations at 50% power. We also want the robot to turn in the direction of the T. Now, depending on the track that you're on, you may want to turn left, you may want to turn right. What I'm going to do, by default, I'm going to tell it to turn left. So just like in the past, we slide this move block all the way over to the left so it turns left, slow the speed down to about 50%, and we're going to try half of a rotation. So this is our basic 2-light sensor line following program. From here you should be able to test this program and see if you have any issues. I'd recommend that you check your values on your light sensors. To do so, click down here, select the NXT window, and there will be a list of the NXTs that are available to your computer. Some might say Bluetooth, USB. As long as it says available right here, you can click connect and it'll say connected. Once it's connected, close that window and select the light sensor that you want to check the value on. What you'll see is down here in this window is a live feed of the actual reflected light from that light sensor. The way I choose my light value, whether it's 0 or all the way up to 100 down here on the switch, I put my light sensor on the black line, record the value, and I put it on the white part of the mat and I record that value. Once we take those values and have them recorded, we enter them into a simple equation. The equation is right here. High value plus low value equals total value. But remember, we wanted the average of the total value. The average of the total value is total value divided by 2, and that gives you the value to put into your switch. So if you had problems with the default value of 50 on each of these switches, check your light values and make sure that you're looking for the right value for your specific robot.